All right. We are live. I'm here with Daniel Emrey Taylor joining us on the House of Horrors. How are you tonight?
Hey, I'm doing great. Doing great.
Great. I'm glad you could join us tonight. So I'll go ahead in just a few minutes, we'll discuss, your career and all that. So,
sure.
If anyone has any questions when they come in, I'll go ahead and read them off to you.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. I was checking out Camp Murder. I was watching that in both the hospitals the past couple of days. Well, the new one's Murder coming out. That I meant Massacre. Yeah, it starts with an M. Murder, massacre. There's definitely some murders going on in that movie.
I hate that name too. That's the name the distributor gave it. It was originally called Fat Chance.
Oh, I like that one better. It's more fitting.
That's what everybody says, but the distributor thought they knew better and released Camp Massacre, which it is what it is.
Yeah,
it's a fun movie. I enjoyed watching it.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it was a lot of fun to make. Originally, when I sat down to write it, I just thought about all these kind of great character actors I knew that were bigger guys, and normally, if you get one big guy in a movie, you're doing good, But you hardly ever get 3, 4, 5 big guys together. So I just thought about, what can we all do together, and that's what I came up with, kind of a Biggest Loser meets Friday the 13th. So
yeah, that's the way I was describing it, because I was watching it. My husband usually watches something else. He puts headphones on and he looks over and he's like, what the hell are you watching? I get that. Nothing towards you, but I get that a lot because I watch a lot of weird stuff. And he's not in the horror genre stuff, so you look over, he's like, what are you watching? That's basically how I described it.
I was going to say something, and now my mind just... Oh, about you were saying the distributor. You're talking to Danielle last week. They changed Survival Knife to, what was it, Final Vengeance Girl? Or Vengeance Girl? I don't remember, but yeah, distributors seem to do that.
Yeah, they think they have their thumb on the pulse of, what audiences want, and sometimes they make good decisions and sometimes not. I feel like this was a not good decision because it strips the movie of everything. Not the movie itself, but from the marketing standpoint, it kind of stripped the movie of everything that made it unique. So it just looked like another, Friday the 13th ripoff sitting on the shelf, and people missed the fact that it was basically a comedy. People missed the fact that kind of had the for lack of a better term, gimmick of being mostly an overweight cast. But it is what it is. Just one of those things that happens.
Mm-hmm. So, what gave you the idea of? I was going to say for the killer, the chicken bucket. That was pretty funny. What gave you that idea for the mask there?
I don't remember. The gentleman I was working with at the time, named Jim O'Rear, he was kind of my creative partner on it. I don't remember if he or I came up with it, but I remember we both loved the idea because we wanted something ridiculous. Because it was basically almost a parody type film. We wanted something just kind of ridiculous, and it's like, all right, well, if somebody is killing fat people, what would he wear on his head? Of course, he wears a chicken bucket on his head and an apron that says 6 packs on it with a picture of a 6-pack.
It's like, just tempt him with a chicken bucket, then you're dead.
That's it.
That was actually kind of my question too. Where I'm starting to say the same thing that he was starting to say. We're on the same mind wave, but yeah, I thought that was really funny.
But what was the most physical challenge of that? Like doing all the boot exercises, or what was the most challenging?
It was the heat. We filmed it. It was, I want to say early September in South Alabama. September in Alabama is still 80, 90, 100 degrees, depending on the season. So we were still summertime weather out there in real swamps and real woods. It's a place, it's close to Selma. I don't know if people generally know kind of where Selma is because of the civil rights history and everything. Close to Selma, but it's down there. There is like a wildlife preserve that we were given access to. So yeah, we were out there in real swamps, real woods, with real mosquitoes. We all got, I don't know if you know what chiggers are.
Oh yeah.
But we, that after a third or fourth night, I went back to the hotel room and I, was like getting ready to go in the shower. And my wife is like, "What is all over you?" And I'm just polka dotted from like my neck to my knees. And it was chigger bites. We had, and then everybody the next day was like, "Dude, did everybody else get eaten up by bugs?" And we're like, "Yeah, this is what happened." So, so that was probably the most difficult thing about it, is just being out there in the element. Anytime you're out in the real world, you're kind of dealing with the elements.
So the heat really was melting that hidden candy that you guys had there.
I'm telling you, ironically, I filmed a movie about fat people, ended up losing about 10 pounds. Of course, that's cute.
So it was a physical. It was actually a challenge.
It was.
You just didn't get killed in the process.
Yeah, but even though you might have felt like it.
Right.
Yeah. The bike ride was funny too, with the little bikes and everything.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, a lot of it's sophomore humor, but I just tried to think of things that made me laugh, and just the idea of these big guys on these little bitty tiny bicycles, and the whole training montage, because it, whenever you're kind of paying homage to the '80s, you always have to have a training montage. Mm-hmm. The guys out there just kind of barely exercising, and the trampoline was there on set, and then I think it was TJ was just like, "You want me to get on the trampoline and jump up and down?" I'm like, yes. And slow
volunteer it, it's going.
Yes.
Yeah. You want to go ahead and ask anything?
Yeah, with the Camp Massacre, with Al Snow being in that, how was it working with a wrestler?
I tell people, and that's not the only. It's the only time I've directed Al Snow, but I worked with him as an actor previously. I acted alongside him in a movie called The Legacy. Al is great. Exactly how you expect. What you see on TV is basically what you get in person, and most professional wrestlers tend to be that way.
Right.
Their on-screen persona is just an amped-up version of who they really are for the most part. So Al is so great, so professional. I tell people, and people always think I'm joking, the two types of people I love to work with: professional wrestlers and porn stars, because they are the most professional. They show up, they know their lines, they know their marks, absolute complete lack of pretension. And they just dig in and do it, man. You get actors sometimes, especially amateur actor. When I say amateur, people who have not had, screen roles before. Sometimes, and I'm an actor too, so I get this way as well, but people can come in, feeling a little self-important and, feeling a little, like an artiste. But when wrestlers and porn stars, you don't get that. You get, they're almost kind of blue collar, like, we're here, we're ready to work. What are we doing? Kind of thing. And on that Camp Massacre, I got to work with Bree Olson, who was an absolute pleasure to have on set, and Al Snow both. So.
Yeah, I saw him on the thing before I started watching. I was like, because I used to watch wrestling back in the day, and I was like, "Oh, cool, Al Snow." But yeah, I was curious about that. I think my favorite kill, though, out of the whole movie is this part. Then the killer, like, literally sneaks, like I thought that was just funny, just the way he just kind of like had his hands like the little evil villain.
Right. Yeah. I love There's so many funny things in that. I want to have TJ run through the wall like Looney Tunes, and the wall collapses, and he just plunges right through it. I mean, there's great stuff. Critics hated it, but I think sometimes horror fans take things a little too seriously. It was meant to be a farce, and I've got a weird sense of humor, and maybe you liked it, maybe you didn't. I thought it was funny.
Yeah, I thought it was a gag. Like there was another part where like the old sheriff, he was like supposed to be like the homage to Bad Things kind of character way I took it. And like he shows up and he points the gun actually at one of the campers. I forget which one now. I forgot to write it in my notes. And then like him and the killer are struggling at the moment, and they just like stop and they like point each other. It's like, no, you didn't. No, you did. I thought that was really funny as well. But
and one thing that when the sergeant character, the trainer, yells and his clothes explode off, we came up with that on the fly on set too. That was just another thing that was just so silly and ridiculous that it just made us all laugh. So just know that we had a great time shooting that movie. It was a lot of fun.
I can imagine. It looked like a really fun to make movie. It was a really fun movie.
And then the hiding of the dead body and everything, all that. No, we did it. Okay, who
throw
else
a tarp over the one and
drinking his blood? Like, oh, fuck.
Chadrick says, I enjoyed The Hospital.
Yeah.
Hospital. That was a different type of movie, yes.
Definitely.
I didn't get to watch that one because I didn't. It wasn't on Tubi. I couldn't find it streaming anywhere, but I didn't get to watch that one. But all the other ones I was able to watch, I really enjoyed.
The Hospital was very lo-fi. It was very, very shot almost in a guerrilla style. It was meant to be edgy and look like Cannibal Holocaust or Last House on the Left or something. Have kind of that unpolished look to it. But it's crazy looking at the difference in quality from like The Hospital to It's Just a Game. Which is, much more stylized, much higher production value, things like that. It's you can kind of see the trajectory of where I'm trying to go, artistically.
Chadrick also says, I never saw, Camp Massacre, but I saw Jim's behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Jim was always real good about posting the BTS and stuff. He was always filming something and trying to catch funny stuff for everybody to see.
But yeah, Chadrick, I definitely highly recommend it. I had a lot of fun watching the movie.
Yes, definitely. With Camp Massacre, also the character of Darkness, his name, that was pretty funny. Did anyone that you knew that was like goth that inspired that character?
I will tell you the truth, and I hope this person doesn't find me. I was actually in a Target one time, and the guy working, his name on his tag was Dark, D-A-R-C, and he looked kind of gothy. So I just imagine, his last name was Ness, and goes home and listens to, Scissor Sisters and, watches weird German horror films or something.
Anything else, Boom? You?
Do you prefer working in front of the cameras or behind the scenes, since you pretty much do everything?
I mean, probably more behind the camera. I do love acting, but I've found that I like acting more when it's not my project, because it's hard to do both. It is hard.
I can imagine.
It's hard to do both at a high level. You almost always feel like one or the other suffers. So I've gotten to the point now where, in any future projects I have planned for myself, I'm almost doing the Alfred Hitchcock cameo thing, and let other people act. But no, I love acting, when I get cast in other people's productions. but they're entirely different skill sets. But I think just kind of where I am now, I'm really enjoying the creative aspect more of writing and directing. Yeah.
Nice. Where do you get like a lot of your inspirations from?
Gosh, sometimes dream, sometimes daydream, sometimes it's hard to explain. Sometimes I'll get a cool image in my head, like, just a picture of somebody standing over a body with a weird weapon, and it's night and it's raining or something, and then you start trying to build a story around it. It's like, okay, well, why are they there? How did they get to this point? What happened? So I think a lot in visuals, and then kind of try to fill in the story around it.
Nice. And Chadrick writes that he loves your writing and he'll see Camp Massacre ASAP.
Well, thank you.
You won't regret it.
Definitely recommended.
Right. Try and go through.
So for the hospital, like the description of it, of course, we got the investigator investigating that hospital because it's haunted. And then you got the killers, Stanley, you in that. And then it goes like a totally different direction with the killers, what they are doing there.
Right.
What made you decide to do, I guess, without killer snuff, like supernatural snuff murder? How did you come up with that? And was that?
I am obsessed with trying to perfect the From Dusk Till Dawn flip, where you start off thinking it's one type of movie and then it flips to a completely different type of movie. So with the hospital, the idea was, and I don't think we executed very well in this regard. But the idea was you would start off thinking it was going to be kind of this silly, haunted house type movie, but then you find out that it is really more of a rape revenge movie. I will say this was 2012, and sensibilities were a little different 10 years ago than they are now. So I wouldn't necessarily make the same type of film today. But that was the idea, is that you start off with like The Conjuring and end up with, Last House on the Left. So that, and then trying to marry those together. We shot in a location that is supposedly really haunted. It was very well known among paranormal investigators and things like that. It had been featured on paranormal, programs, Old South Pittsburgh Hospital in Southern Tennessee. So we thought that was a good kind of hook. It's when you add the supernatural aspect to it, it's, what if we really caught something on camera while we were filming, or what if we really, were able to kind of blend these topics together. And again, to varying degrees of success, but that was the thought going into it.
Nice. Did you actually have any experiences?
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
I'm skeptical when it comes to ghosts, but I definitely believe in unexplained phenomena. And yeah, there was some weird stuff there. Weird, just weird sounds coming from parts of the hospital that nobody was in. At one point, I heard somebody call my name from upstairs. Went upstairs and there was nobody there. Everybody was like downstairs, and so that really kind of freaked me out.
I've had something like that happen, so I know how you feel there.
So, and again, I'm a skeptic at heart, but when you're faced with something that you can't explain, it kind of throws everything for a loop. But it was a full, a full operational hospital until something, they closed it down in the 90s, some kind of budgetary thing or something. But it's weird. There's still calendars on the wall from, when they closed down, and still stuff in the rooms. And it's quite an experience to shoot there.
I imagine. I watch a lot of like urban exploration videos like on YouTube and whatnot, and just seeing like when they find hospital stuff, how much stuff, because a lot of that equipment can't just be taken out. But yeah, it's really interesting. Or they probably could take it out, just don't want to spend the money on it. But
that was the most surprising thing to me. Is like, you're used to seeing, empty, hollow buildings where they've cleared out, but there's just so much stuff left in this. It's like it's a hospital, Still beds, gurneys, and stuff left inside. Is crazy.
Were you able to have full range of the entire hospital when you were filming, or was there any places they didn't allow you to go?
No, aside from there were a couple of rooms that the caretakers stayed in, but aside from that, no, we pretty much had full run of the hospital, and a lot of it was when we went to go scout it. It was basically just picking cool rooms to shoot stuff in. It's like, oh, it'd be cool if we killed this person in this room. So yeah, we pretty much had full run of the whole place. Yeah.
Chadrick wants to know: do you still make Deviant, or do you have a new company?
No. Deviant Pictures ended a few years ago. So my current company is Deader Entertainment. So far, we've got the one film. It's just a game, but we are working on pulling a second one together now, and then we've got future projects lined up. So.
Anything you can tell us, or they're all under wraps right now?
I can't reveal too much publicly because we do have a known horror star attached to our next one, but the contractual things until everything is like fully funded and ready to roll, we can't announce him. But it's I think it's the best script I've written. It is a very unique premise. I can't, aside from just being very excited about it, I can't really go into too many details.
That's understandable.
Yeah, it's I've come up with it with a unique premise and something that I think audiences are going to be very surprised by, and I think they're really, really going to enjoy it.
Well, we'll definitely keep an eye out for it for sure.
In the game, I like how it was almost like a cult merged with like something like Bloody Mary kind of thing, mm-hmm. And I kind of like that. That was interesting.
Yeah, that going into that, it was kind of, again, I like to play with the audience's expectations, and again, you kind of think it's going to be a Candyman type thing or
right
going into it, but then the fact that A, Skullgirl is real, but B, she's less supernatural and more part of this, the cult. So, and just with that, I just had these crazy characters that I just really thought would play well together, and kind of this sticking them all together in a cult just really seemed to work. And again, it's something that's both familiar but also unique. Like, there's similarities to Texas Chainsaw, there's similarities to House of Thousand Corpses, but at the same time, the characters are completely unique, situations unique. So, to me, that's the best thing about horror is you can always build on what came before while putting your unique spin on it. Because nothing's new. I mean, every story practically has been told. It's just a matter of finding new ways to tell these stories.
Right. Yeah, but it's just a game. It was like it threw me off a little bit at first because, like, the two couple, the girl and the guy that kept calling each other brother sister, and they're like sitting there having sex, and like I'm like, what? They're calling me brother sister, and then you realize, oh, it's a cult. Like everybody calls it brother sister. It took me a minute to catch on to that one, but I was like, wait a minute, are they actually brother sister?
We thought yes, we wanted that kind of shock value. I thought we made it clear that it was all a cult thing, but so many of the reviews still say, there's incest in this. There's not incest in the film.
At first I did think that, but I did catch on eventually. I did catch on. I was like, oh, okay, I get it now. Everybody's brother, sister in this. That guy says, that's his name, says, I can't wait to see how all the hard work pays off. Yeah, I think we're all in that boat there because we have all enjoyed everything so far.
Well, thank you so much. And yeah, it's film's a lot of work. It's fun. It's fun work. I'm passionate about it. I enjoy it, but it's still work. So
right.
and so much goes into it. Gosh, so much that people don't even think about. Like going back to Camp Massacre, I've got an animal handler credit because I had to go find us a chicken to shoot with, and
Yeah, I remember the chicken.
Chicken, yeah.
it's like, what did you do for your animal handler credit? Well, I went and picked up the chicken. That's what I did. I handled the chicken, and here he is. And
You want your dinner?
The chicken was returned and healthy and in one piece and still clucking away. So
No animals were harmed in the making of this.
no animals were harmed, just actors, no animals.
And some people actually put that in their credits too, like make a joke of it. Because I forget who it was. I've seen it several times. They'll say no animals are harmed, but such and such one of the actors was harmed or something. But sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, obviously, you got to get down to work, but was there any pranks played on the set at all? Or a jokester on?
Gosh, not so much in terms of pranks because we run such a tight schedule. I shoot most everything in 10 to 12 days. So not a lot of time for pranks and stuff like that, but jokes. I mean, I tend to work with the same folks on the crew.
Yeah, I noticed that with the hospital and Camp Massacre.
A lot of the same cast, or at least, certain individuals here and there. So, we all have a good time and we like to keep things light and funny and, have a good time. So
was there any improv then or lines change that was just funny that was thrown in, or was it by the script?
Camp Massacre probably about half the lines were ad-libbed. And it almost became, especially TJ, who was kind of like the co-lead in the film. TJ is so funny, and he and I have been friends for years. And our scenes together, we were constantly almost like a game of one-upsmanship. It was trying to make each other, crack up or laugh. Al Snow had lines, but Al Snow pretty much improvised his entire performance. And what he came up with was better than what I wrote for him. So, it depends on the actor. Some people are just by the script, absolutely 100%. I like to ad lib a little bit. And as a director, I don't mind if the actor ad libs as long as we're still getting the bullet points of what they're supposed to be saying. But I'm a big fan of letting everybody, make the dialogue their own and make it fit their, individual delivery and everything.
That was actually one of my questions. If you and TJ were actually friends in real life, because you guys seem like you had a really good chemistry in Camp Massacre. Like I said, I didn't get to see the hospital, but yeah, I've seen you guys had like a real good chemistry. I was going to ask if you was friends with him in real life. Yeah,
TJ, I've known TJ for like I said, years, and I've acted with him a few different times, and that was my first time to be able to direct him, and he's great. He's got a couple of kids now, so I haven't had him on set for a while, but maybe one day I'll get to have him, in a project again.
Chadrick says, I made my first short. I can't even imagine how it is to make a feature. I shot a day and a half for close to 13 minutes.
It's, it's crazy. People don't realize how long some of these things, especially if when you introduce special effects and things like that into the mix, I mean, you can shoot all day and then come up with 5 minutes of actual, screen time.
Right.
Sometimes it's easy. Sometimes you can just burn right through, but sometimes, they can really slow down. A lot of people don't realize, that you shoot out of sequence. A lot of people don't realize that it's a lot, especially like when you get new actors on set or even new crew members. People don't realize how much waiting it is. It's like, all right, we're going to move the camera and all the lights over here and then set everything up, and that takes 30 minutes to an hour. All right, we're going to shoot. We shoot for 15 minutes. all right, now we're going to move the camera over here, and you have to wait for an hour while they move everything again. So hurry up and wait. That's the motto of filmmaking.
But I want to bring it all the way back. And we're going to talk about how was it to be a child actor?
Oh my goodness, it was great. It was so much fun. Just the experience of working on the Return to Swamp Thing was just at that point it was beyond anything that I could have imagined, because even though I enjoyed basically playing make believe at home and acting things out, I never thought that acting was a realistic career path. Just because you grow up in Birmingham, Alabama, and you're not in Hollywood, and you just assume there are no opportunities. But
right,
first thing I got cast in a school play. It was a Christmas play. It was the night before Christmas. I was originally cast as a box, so I was supposed to sit under the Christmas tree and be an alluring Christmas present box. But the little guy who what's in the box?
Fucking box.
If that movie would have been out, then I can imagine you just like pop out, because you would have been like 10, because we're the same age. We're only like a few months apart, but I can imagine just like
But luckily for me, the little guy who played the father got sick, and I was the one who the suit would fit. So I got cast as the father, and it was just an absolute ham on stage. I don't know how good of an actor I was, but I enjoyed being up there and just kind of hammed it up. And Talent Scout was there and asked me to come audition for a couple of things. First thing I auditioned for, I did 2 callbacks, but ultimately didn't get. And then Swamp Thing was the second thing I auditioned for, and ended up getting it. It was so much fun. Just even thinking back, Mom talks about how we worked with Heather Locklear, we worked with Louis Jourdan, who, of course, classic French actor, and Dick Duroc was amazing. And Mom laughs because everybody was wanting to hang out with Heather Locklear, hang out with Sarah Douglas, hang out with the actors on set. I was hanging out with the stuntmen and the special effects guys because I wanted to see how everything was made. I was
wondering, how was it like to see like all the little like if you even got to see any of that? Oh, my dog's attacking me. So, she's been outside like most of the day, and she's got let in, so she's like, Bobby.
But to me, that was the best part. It was just seeing how everything was made, and I just found that fascinating, and how you don't realize what you're doing on set, how it looks through the camera. So this is one thing that I tell actors now, especially if you have, let's say you have an actor that's supposed to slap or punch another actor. If they're not stunt people, they've never done this before, they get real worried. It's like, oh, I don't want to accidentally hit. No, you don't have to act. There's not going to be a chance of you hitting them, because you're going to swing and you're going to be about 3 feet away from them. Well, it's going to look like I'm too far away. To you, it looks like you're too far away, but to the camera shooting from back here, it's going to look like you're right on top of them. And you don't realize how things look through the camera lens. And that was one thing that I learned, on my first couple of acting jobs, is to listen to the director, because what feels natural to you, acting isn't necessarily what looks best for the camera. It's 2 entirely different things. And it was things like that that I really found fascinating. The special effects and everything, just how everything fits together. It's a puzzle, and it's you need everything. You need everything in the right place for it.
And what was it like seeing like the monsters at being a child? Because I don't know about everybody else. I was not allowed to watch like stuff like that when I was 10 years old, but I wouldn't until like a teenager before I was allowed to watch anything. So what was it like to be able to see? By the looks of it, you had got real close. We got close to Swamp Thing. I can imagine him being scary, and whatever the other monster was, I think you got same footage with him as well.
my mother was very liberal in what I was allowed to watch. And thinking back now, it's kind of crazy, but I was like, 6, 7 years old watching Fright Night and Reanimator. So I wasn't scared. It was kind of a comfortable. But I've always liked scary things. I've always liked horror movies and monster movies. And
that's true, because I wasn't allowed to watch stuff like that when I was younger. Because I remember like when Gremlins came out, I wasn't allowed to watch it because it's going to be too scary. But I had like all the toys of not like Gizmo, but like Gremlin. I remember those little plastic toys they used to have. Yeah. I had a lot of the Gremlins, but I wasn't allowed to watch the movie. But I was like, these things are so cute. But so now my son, I've let him, because he's 16 now, I've let him watch stuff when he was, even younger. Not like super young, but when he's gotten older, I let him watch stuff because like I don't want him being all sheltered like I was. I wasn't allowed to start watching stuff until I was like an older teenager.
That was my mom's rule was no sex or nudity. It was like, there's a nipple, I couldn't watch it. 5 people got beheaded. It was cool. So I grew up watching things I probably should not have been watching at that age, but she knew I could handle it. I had,
Right. Yeah. You get to a point where you kind of figure out what your child can handle, because I learned that with my son. He ends up not liking horror, but I tried. But I do gotta say, your character in that,
you write the hospital.
But your character, he was super adorable, and like your accent was super adorable. I just thought he was adorable altogether. But Chedrick says he saw you in Swamp Thing and loved it. And was you going to say something before we read Hobbs' comment?
Oh, and I was going to say that was my real accent too at the time of my. Yeah,
I thought I cut you off. That's why I was.
No.
Hobbs says, "Flying saucers over fetish land. Can you tell us more about that motion picture?"
Yes, I can. There is a friend of mine out of Kentucky named Jerry Williams, and he makes avant-garde films using old public domain footage where he pieces them together, and they're so entertaining and so fantastic, but they're very, very odd. So he will occasionally message me and be like, "Can you shoot some footage on your cell phone?" Well, yes, I can. Well, I need you to look out a window and scream, "Oh no," or whatever. And then he would piece this into this movie. So Flying Saucers Over Fetish Land, I actually just was goofing around one night and shot some stuff with a character I created called Biff McGee. And Biff McGee is a super macho kind of guy, which is funny because I'm obviously not. So just, Biff McGee is going to save the day and things like that. Just silly, stupid stuff. And I sent it to him, and he put in this film he was making, and he uses old footage of strippers from the 1920s and flying saucer movies from the 30s and 40s, and pieces it all together, and then he shoots stuff, and it's just it's art, man. It's art. It's avant-garde. It's weird stuff, but I love that that's on my IMDb. People are going through. It's Return of Swamp Thing, Road Trip, Flying Saucers Over Fetish Land. What? I love that it's on my resume. I love it.
I actually missed that, believe it or not. I was going through the IMDb and trying to find what I can watch and what I could learn about and whatnot, and I actually missed that. I did not see it, but that's
the point right now. Biff McGee.
Biff McGee, yeah.
But that sounds like an interesting concept. I kind of like it.
And he's probably got at one point 10 movies on Amazon. So go check them out. Go check out.
I'll have to. I actually missed that when I was going through the IMDb.
So to talk about Road Trip, I guess you were in the tour scene. So did you work with Tom Green at all?
Yeah.
I remember. What's he like working with? He seemed like an interesting guy from his show that he used to be on MTV.
Yeah, actually, I didn't really know who he was when I started. I I recognized him from like commercials, because at that point I'd kind of aged out of MTV a little bit. I was I think 20 I think when we shot. So, but I recognized him from the commercial. So the first time I met him, we were in the makeup trailer, and I'm like, "Hey, are you Tom Green?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he was quiet and polite and super nice guy. Not at all the way you would expect him to be. Just a quiet, polite, guy. I remember. Funny thing, we shot on a couple of different college campuses in Georgia. So the first one we shot on was University of Georgia campus. And we were shooting out somewhere and they had, real students walking, could walk through and be in the background and stuff like that. And I overheard somebody saying, "Dude, that's Tom Green over there. I'm going to go lick him."
They should say, "I put my bum on him. My bum is on Tom Green."
Right. And Tom Green on the Tom Green show would probably think that was very funny. Tom Green, sitting in his, director's chair between shots did not think that was funny and was actually quite concerned. I told him, I said, "Yeah, Tom, just to let you know, these guys, there's some guys over there said they're going to come over here and lick you." And he said, "Really?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Were they joking?" I said, "Probably, but I don't know." I said, "This is the South, man. People get crazy." I don't know. And he said, "Well, I hope they don't." And then the next time Tom was on set, he had a guard with him. So he apparently took the threat of a licking serious.
I am the liquidator. Where's Tom?
But no, Tom, I got to work with Tom. I got to work with Ethan Suplee too, in those same shots, and he was Ethan was such an amazing actor, or is such an amazing actor. But just getting to work with him, and obviously anybody watching doesn't know, from My Name Is Earl and several of the Kevin Smith movies, and he's been in Ethan's been in everything. But he was just such a phenomenal actor, and just being able to chat with him and learn from him was a great experience as well.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. I wouldn't imagine Tom Green being the way he is of course, it's shows for entertainment, but still interesting. I mean, all the stuff that he pulls off and the stuff he did to his parents, and just seems like he'd be an out there crazy guy. But that's interesting going around.
Generally with like comedians and stuff, the people who you think are going to be so wild and out there tend to be kind of quiet. It's like a switch they turn off and on. I think it's therapeutic. I think you can get it all out on camera and then, go be normal the rest of your day.
Yeah, I have a friend in Miami, and she had picked up Chris Rock from the airport, and she said he was like quiet, didn't really talk, and his girlfriend was like saying, "Oh, I want to get $10,000 out of the ATM machine," and the only thing he was like, "Woman, are you crazy? You can't get $10,000 out of the ATM machine," and that was like the only like crazy out moment. But other than that, he was just kind of quiet and not like you expect. I
was disappointed the first time I saw a Cat Williams, and I love Cat Williams, but the first time I saw a Cat Williams like documentary and realized that he doesn't really speak like that. I was really disappointed. I didn't realize it was a character. I thought it was really him, and I felt. And Larry the Cable Guy too. It's just like, man, now everything. The illusion is gone.
Good old Larry. He was from Sanford area, and I worked at that mall, and I remember briefly seeing him like before he got really big. They were doing like either a city council or some sort of election, and he was on the side of the road. He had a sign that was like "Vote for Larry." He would go out and just like mess around.
Interesting.
So. Yeah. So, what other comedians you get into besides Cat Williams? And
I mean, of course, Dave Chappelle. I used to really be into Louis C.K., but that has grown. I don't like. I mean, of course, the classics. Sam Kinison, George Carlin.
George Carlin.
Don Rickles.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff like that. So.
Yeah, it can't be
I think so. Some of this new stand-up comedy and new comedy specials and stuff, that doesn't work for my 90s kid mentality. So
right.
I don't get the Bo Burnham thing. I'm happy for him and his fans.
Oh, Bo, yeah.
I watched a few people are like, I watched Inside Bo Burnham and I was just crying. I'm like, what, isn't that a comedy special? Yeah, but it's so deep, man. I'm like, oh, okay, that's
it's kind of like the opposite effect you expect from a comedy show.
And again, taste is all subjective, and if that's what you like, that's awesome. I'm gonna go watch some Sam Kinison on YouTube.
Right. I know. I got to see Chris Kattan and Marlon Wayans live, and they were so funny. I saw another guy, but I can't think of his name for the life of me.
I've seen Lavelle Crawford is another comedian I love. I've seen him a few times live, and he's always hysterical. I love his his whole thing. So George Lopez gets a lot of crap, but he's actually a really good stand-up comedian as well.
My son used to be, when he was like really little, was like obsessed with him to the point he was like walking up to people asking them if they were George Lopez, and I was like, nope, go away. We're out.
Mr. Lopez. Oh yeah, how
because I didn't know what was coming, and just go up to a random person like, are you George Lopez? I'm like, no, we're out of here.
Well, how like Puffy Enrique, or I mean not Enrique, what's his name? Puffy.
Oh, Gabriel
Iglesias.
Fluffy, not Puffy.
Go Puffy. How he does George Lopez and how he pretends like, are you George Lopez? Yes, I am.
There was another guy that was on Last Comic Standing several years ago, Jay London, who I thought was so funny because all he did was just weird one-liners. One of the jokes, what really burns me? Matches. And I don't, that's so silly and simple, but it was his delivery, and I thought it was great. Mitch Hedberg, oh my goodness, I couldn't forget about Mitch. He's no longer with us, but Mitch Hedberg is like everything that came out of his mouth. And you try to tell people, are you guys familiar with Mitch Hedberg?
I'm fortunately not. So
oh gosh, go look him up. He had this weird kind of I guess spacey delivery. So everything that he says is hysterical. I can tell you the jokes, and they're not nearly as funny as hearing him say it.
Right.
One of his jokes was, my friend asked me if I wanted a frozen banana, and I said no, but I want a regular banana later. So yeah. And that's so funny to me. I like
it's all about the delivery.
Yeah, I have a weird sense of humor.
And Chadrick had said we was talking, but he said the butterfly effect was great. I think he was talking about somebody previously that we was talking about. We got kind of late to reading that that comment. It doesn't fit in now. It doesn't make sense.
I was laughing the whole way through.
You was so digital. I didn't understand a word you said.
I saw that it came out. I said the butterfly effect. I was laughing the whole way through.
I don't know that I ever saw that. I don't think I ever saw that.
Hobbs says,
"Yeah,
Hobbs is not fat; he's puffy." Yeah, we've watched a lot of Gabriel stuff, and there's like a TV. It's like I want to call it a TV show, but I think it's on Netflix. That he's like a school teacher or whatever. It's so funny. I can't think of the name. I'm horrible at stuff like that, but yeah, Gabriel's in that. All right, see you later, Chadrick.
All right, have a good one. Let's say Ethan. Oh, Ethan Suppley he was talking about. Okay.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah.
There was a little delay.
Right. Yeah. Well, it was such conversation. I didn't want to interrupt it.
We went down a rabbit hole. Yeah.
Right. It's got talking about comedians and everything. But yeah,
Did you have anything else?
I thought was real funny is like, you know how IMDb has a trivia part?
Mm-hmm.
It's like the trivia on you. The only thing it says that you was born at 3:55 p.m. Central Time. I thought that was so funny. I was like, that's the only trivia.
Don't know where, just know the time.
Yeah.
It was a magic moment, 3:55
magic
p.m.
moment.
time.
But yeah, I thought that was the funniest thing. That's all it says. Born at 3:55 p.m. Central Time. Like no date, which you can find the date later on. Like somewhere else. But yeah, there's no date, no place, no nothing. It's just born at 3:55 p.m. I just thought that was the funniest thing ever.
No mother either. He just emerged at that time.
I wish I could have waited 8 hours and I could have been born on Halloween. But.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed that. I think I was born about 4 o'clock-ish, but same year, but different month. And nowhere near Halloween. You would think I would be more of a Halloween baby.
It's funny. I don't think I've ever had a birthday cake that wasn't Halloween themed. Like from it's my earliest memory on. It was always jack-o'-lanterns and vampires on my birthday cake.
I would have loved to have a birthday about that time, but no, I got born during a damn blizzard.
My oldest stepdaughter, her birthday is just like a week before Christmas, and she hates that because everybody always pulls this is your Christmas and your birthday present.
Oh.
I know my son's is like 2 weeks after Christmas.
Oh yeah,
and we've tried it's close. It's far enough away we've been able to separate it, but. Yeah, he's like some of the like not close family members do that, and it's like it's 2 weeks from Christmas.
Trying to pull that off,
right? But he's got to be a January. Like almost everybody in my family's January babies.
Yeah, even though when I was younger, even though I was born September 30th, I'd have like a Halloween birthday party. We used to have this huge garage, 2-story garage. We would like decorate it all up, hang up bad skeletons and all that, and then invite like 50 to 100 people, and it was fun. So
Wow.
I miss those days. Yeah, you go all Halloween out on that costume party and stuff, and it was fun. So it's like, if only I really was born on Halloween, that would have been great.
And then you get old and nobody cares about your birthday anymore.
Right? Yeah, when you get to our age, but it's like, we don't care.
Yeah.
We don't want our birthday anymore. We don't want to get old.
Everybody's like, well, hit us up when you hit 50. I'm like, all right, I'll talk to you in a few years.
It was Saturday Night Live. I forget if it was Cherry O'Terry or the other one, but she did that. I'm 50 years old. And she's like, I can't stretch. I'm 50. And that would be like the whole thing.
I hate this. I hate the kind of existential crisis I get when, because I'm 41 now. But then you watch we like to watch the Golden Girls. My wife loves Golden Girls. But then you realize when the Golden Girls started, they were all like 50. And I'm thinking, am I like 8-9 years away from being a Golden Girl?
The Golden Guys.
That doesn't feel right.
Right.
I feel like 50 in the 80s is different from like 40 and 50 now. And then they were all like widows.
Mm-hmm.
So like, what did their husbands die at 35? Like what? What is going on? Somewhere the Golden Girls, forget the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Somewhere the Golden Girls timeline does not make sense.
That's a good point. I've never thought of it like that. Because I'm 42, because mine's in January, because you'll be 42 this month, and
yeah,
I got so much crap wrong with me. It's like if I get like silver singles emails and all sorts of stuff.
I'm thinking just like,
and I'm not even single, but I get that shit all the time.
I'm just like thinking like, man, I just don't feel like I'm 8-9 years away from being the Golden Girls. It just doesn't. In my mind, I'm still 20. My knees not so much, but everything else is still.
I feel you there.
But again,
I get so much wrong with me. It's not even funny.
But I think we're staying more. I think we're staying younger now. People are staying kids longer. Gosh, in the 90s, you hit 17, 18, you were ready to catapult into adulthood. Now people are staying home until their 30s. So
Yeah.
now we're living longer and everything. And this is what I'm telling myself anyway. I'd rather be a Paul Rudd 50 than like an Ed Asner 50.
Right.
Yeah, he looks exactly the same as when he was in, what was it, Clueless or whatever.
Oh yeah.
He doesn't look like he's
I'm convinced Paul Rudd is a witch or something.
or a
Yeah, it's like
vampire.
Paul Rudd and like Nicolas Cage and there's somebody else. I can't think of who the other one is, but they'll find like doppelgangers from like back in like when there was like
Oh yeah,
I've seen those.
Makes
They
it look
find
like they've been like vampires forever.
It's like there's a script idea for you though. The Golden Guys, make it a horror though.
That's the Golden Guys. It's
Maybe they killed their wives. That's why they got married. There you go. Wait, don't steal that. I think I'll write
I
that.
gotta mute myself 1 second.
I saw a meme on Facebook that said Betty White is so old. She starred on a 7-season show about being old that went off the air before most of you were born.
Yeah.
So.
And I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. What was it? The Few Zombies More. Anything you can tell us about that?
Yeah, that was shot here locally. It was a sequel to. Oh my goodness! It was a sequel to Hide and Creep, which was had a pretty big following there for when it came out, and it was just kind of a fun one we shot here in Birmingham. I got to handle a real firearm for the first time, or a handgun for the first time. So that was a lot of fun. Shoot some blanks and didn't hurt anybody.
That's good. Looks like Steve's having some issues there.
He's just sucked into the void there.
The zombies have got him. Now, I didn't realize they were real guns that had blanks. But yeah, I've only seen a real gun once, and it wasn't a good experience, put it that way. But yeah, the Few Zombies More, it wasn't too bad. I enjoyed that one as well. I think he was a henchman, if I remember correctly. I think that's what I wrote in my notes. Okay, that's...
Yeah.
He's got a parallel universe here. He's got two.
He's a variant.
Wait, well, because I'm on twice. No, what it is, my computer died, so I plugged it back in. But that's weird. It still left me silent. Hey, who's pretending to be me? I'm just getting the computer back on, and then I'll be on that. But I figured just use my phone. Just that's funny though. I've never seen that happen. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt, but go ahead. What you're saying.
That's funny.
I do have a twin somewhere, maybe. Speaking of doppelgangers.
Oh shoot!
Because it looks like. Like. Okay. Okay.
Oh god.
Okay, I'm gonna turn off the phone here.
We had dual sound there going for a minute. He was echoing.
Echo.
Well, at least we can hear you.
I'm trying to figure out here how to get the camera back on. Maybe I need it. No, I don't want to remove me. I don't know why there's no picture. There we go.
Hey.
Yay! But what has been like your favorite project to work on so far?
I mean, as an actor, it's always going to be probably Return of Swamp Thing, just because it was kind of my introduction into the world of film. It was just so much fun working with Jim Wynorski, who's such a fun director to work with. Joey Segal, great actor, a lot of fun. Heather Locklear was great, very sweet. Dick Durock, bless his memory. He was just such a.
Coming on. Did he say he was coming right back, or did it get disconnected?
You're good.
No, I mean Daniel.
I have no idea what he said, but go ahead.
I can't see. I can't see Daniel now. That's weird.
Oh, I could see him. He's good.
I'm here.
How the heck is he? No, his screen on my end's black, and I can't hear him either.
I have no idea. Oh, now we lost him.
Hey,
now he's back. We changed spots.
It's like one of those little sliding puzzles.
That's so weird. I can't see or hear him. I don't understand.
I have no idea because I could see him and hear him fine.
Do I have to sign off and sign on my phone and be on two places at once again? This is so weird.
Don't you love computers?
Right.
This is really weird. I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on. So you can hear him and see him, Boom?
Yeah.
And I can hear and see him.
I'll be
and
right
he
back.
can hear and see you.
That's so weird. Like, I'm going to leave for a second and come back. I can't see or hear.
We had to do that last episode. He was so digitized. I had to be translator. I had to try to figure out what he was asking to ask the guest. Hopefully he'll be able to figure it out. He might have to pop back on his phone. This seemed to work a little bit better than his computer.
But anyway, while we wait, but
yeah, go ahead.
Return of Swamp Thing was just so much fun. Everybody was so great to us. Being a young first-time actor. As a director, It's Just a Game has been my favorite thing to work on so far because it was the first thing I directed solo. Everything up to that point had been co-directed. And I just feel like there's more of me in It's Just a Game in terms of, it's completely my script and my vision. And
I guess I'll just finish on my phone. I don't know what's going on.
But yeah, so those would be my two answers. And my favorite project's always going to be the next one,
Right?
Regardless.
Yeah. Well, if we get to talk to you again, we'll find out what that is.
Yes.
What that one is.
Hopefully, I'll get to announce it soon. We're talking, doing the investor thing, talking to investors, and we'll probably do some degree of crowdfunding coming up. So, yeah, things will be revealed very soon. So
awesome! Can't wait to hear about that.
And I'm just going to have to go back and watch the replay and see what the answers were for the. That's really weird. I've never seen that where I've seen two of me on and then your picture was gone. I couldn't see or hear you or anything. But I don't know.
Gremlins, man. Gremlins in the machine.
Right.
Like that Are You Afraid of the Dark episode with the camera and the gremlin was in the picture and then it was in the I don't know if you remember that or not. But
I do remember that, yep.
Let's see. Anything else, Boom? I'm trying to think.
I think we covered all my questions.
Is there any interesting facts about yourself that we may not know that you want to share? Like your birthday? No. Any hobbies or what you like to do when you're not working or anything like that?
This takes up so much of my time. I don't know if there's ever much of a time when I'm not working. I like, I enjoy video games and I'm a film fanatic. So, I'm constantly watching films, trying to study. This year especially, I've tried to watch more of the classics, things that I have not watched up to this point, so we can kind of study the people who came before. Also I'm a big vinyl record guy, so big record collector. So
my husband is as well.
Do that.
Were you able to check out the Fear Street movies yet?
Yes. I really, really liked them. I thought that I really liked the way it was done. I like the kind of the episodic nature of it, and kind of going back to the different timelines. I thought it was really well done. A lot of fun. It didn't reinvent the wheel. It wasn't, anything, necessarily new or novel, but it was, I thought the effects were great. I thought the acting was good. I really like, what's her name? Sadie Sink?
Oh, from Stranger Things.
Yeah.
From
Stranger Things, which I'm a big Stranger Things fan as well.
Me too.
And just, I enjoyed it. I thought it was very well done. My only thing, this is the old man in me. My only criticism is, and the fact that they tried to squeeze in as much '90s music as possible.
Yeah,
and a lot of those songs weren't out at the time the movie takes place.
That's what people were saying. Yeah,
those been the main complaints I've been seeing as well. But yeah, they had a lot of music. I got to see the first two. I have not got to see the last one yet. But yeah, there's been a lot. I've liked what I've seen. And I kind of like how they did it. It's even though we see an R.L. Stine movie, normally it's made for more children, but definitely like younger kids, like the Goosebumps movie. Younger kids could see that one, but this one there is no way like that audience can watch
adults,
this one.
Definitely,
I was surprised. I thought they would go more teen.
I thought that too when I originally saw it. And then I got watching it and I was like, yeah, there's some pretty bloody kills in the first one. And the second one, there's like basically a sex scene. And well,
there's sort of not a big sex scene, but even in the first one.
Right. And I was like, okay, yeah, these are definitely not tween movies.
Well, definitely even Fear Streets, they were for older teens. They weren't for younger. I mean, they didn't have the saying fuck all the way through it or anything like that, but they were for older readers.
I never read any R.L. Stine. I was in school. I was reading, Stephen King and H.P. Lovecraft and Poe and everything. So I never got into.
Same here.
So I never read any R.L. Stine. I really, really enjoyed those films, and I picked up the soundtrack on pre-ordered the vinyl soundtrack. So I'm a big soundtrack collector, and I really like the score. Right. So.
Yeah, I was the same way. When I started being allowed to make my own choices, what I read or watched, I think it was like middle school. I got real big into Stephen King, and I even did like some sort of like English research paper thing about like his life and whatnot. But I got real big in Stephen King, Poe. I didn't get introduced to Lovecraft till probably later on. But yeah, I was real big into Poe and Stephen King as well.
What made me want to start reading Lovecraft was Stuart Gordon movies, like Reanimator and Dagon and things like that. So I wanted to go back to the source material, and then you find out that, man, the fact that he was able to make movies out of Lovecraft's writing is kind of amazing, because Lovecraft, the writing is so out there that it's so hard. People are like, "Why don't they make a Cthulhu movie? That'd be awesome." I don't know how you would. Everything is so kind of mental. It's all about. It's so in your head and in the thoughts of the characters and everything. It's in terms of a linear narrative. I just don't know how you adapt some of those things. I'll tell you another thing that I was amazed by is It. Both versions of It, both the television and then the recent movies. The fact that it was the novel that I tried to read and couldn't make it through. because you're like on page 500 and he's still introducing main characters. the book is like that thick. And the space turtle and all that. It just the fact that they were able to make movies that made sense out of that was just amazing to me. And both great. I love the Tim Curry and then the new one. I love them both equally. They're obviously very different types of films, but
I really enjoyed the new ones as well. And I tried when the new ones came out. I was like, I'm gonna finally read this book. So I finally got it. And I don't even know why I even tried because I'm so bad at reading books. And I didn't get, I don't even think I got up to page 500. But I was like, I'll get reading and I get distracted and I'll put it down and I'll never pick it up again. It's very rare for me to read a book all the way through.
It's, and I've read plenty of Stephen King novels, but something about it, man. Cocaine's a hell of a drug is all I can say.
I like the Mr. Mercedes book. I was able to read that one all the way through, and I got about maybe halfway through the second one. I can't remember what it's called, but it's a 3-book series, and I own the third book, but I never read it. I know they made a TV show out of it. The first one is pretty closely to the book. I haven't got to see the second season, but the book is like so time jumpy. It's like each chapter is a different time period. And it was like so hard for me to keep track. I was like, I had to put it down and I never picked it up. I really did like Mr. Mercedes.
I loved, I read The Green Mile when it was originally released as like 6 little novellas. Like,
I actually have that. I found that at a thrift store not too long ago. I have it around here somewhere.
That's amazing because I think now you can only buy it like as one book, but I remember,
I think I could find that.
I remember getting, Green Mile, chapter 1, chapter 2, and then having to wait, for the next one to come out. That was, that was a very unique way to release, a story like that, but it was so good. And the movie's great too. So.
It's funny you said that because I was just thinking that about the closest Stephen King movie that I've seen based on the books was The Green Mile. Like the only differences that I can recall from that is the year that it was told. It was like 1912 and 14. Mm-hmm. And then the other was he was telling it to that woman instead of typing it. But other than that, I mean, like the line, the setting, I mean, like everything was almost like dead on.
Oh yeah, those were great. I loved getting those.
Mm-hmm. They're not in order because I just grabbed them.
Yeah.
But yeah, but that was so. I wish you would do something like that again. Reading them and having to wait for the next chapter was just
fun.
But
yeah, I found these at like an old bookstore a couple years ago, and I grabbed them all up. I was like, oh, that's interesting. But yeah, that's funny you mentioned that. I just got that.
So I think there were 6 of them, right? 6
yeah, I don't think I grabbed the other one because I'm pretty sure I have all of them. But I only grabbed 5.
They had, I think they're redoing the Firestarter, and I don't know if they're doing Pet Sematary again.
Prequel. They're doing a prequel that's going to, I think it's a TV series prequel that it's either a TV series or movie. I might be wrong on that. But it's going to be a prequel that's going to Paramount Plus, and I believe Firestarter is going to be a movie. I want to say it's Paramount Plus as well, but don't quote me on that because I don't have my notes.
Did you watch
the
newsstand that they did, that the CBS did? Did you see the newsstand?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get a chance to see it.
It was good. I enjoyed it. It was like so different from the movie that I've seen probably like 100 times.
Yeah,
that was
I kind of like the original better, but I don't know. The newer one was all right, but I wasn't the biggest fan of that one, of the newer one, but it wasn't horrible. I'm not going to say it's horrible, but
I think I'm just used to the original that I liked it so much. It was just, I mean, nothing wrong with it. I mean, it was good.
I'm a huge fan of The Shining. I love The Shining, and I loved Dr. Sleep. I know a lot of people kind of gave it a hard time, but I thought Dr. Sleep was great, and I love the fact that they kept a lot of the imagery of Kubrick's The Shining,
Mm-hmm.
which I was afraid they wouldn't do because Stephen King very famously did not enjoy that film. But to me, The Shining is an absolute classic. It's one of my favorite films. Yeah. And Dr. Sleep, the fact that they were able to be true to King's vision while also incorporating the imagery that's so famous to all of us. I thought it was just kind of the best of both worlds. Gosh, another one of my absolute favorite films, period, is Carrie. Yeah. Brian De Palma is one of my favorite directors. I love his visual style. And to me, Carrie is practically a perfect horror movie.
Right.
You know, I know they've tried to revisit it and redo it a couple of times. I don't think it worked. To me, the only one that works is De Palma's. You know, I really did hate the most recent remake of Carrie, because I did not for a minute buy that this girl was like this ugly, put upon, bullied girl. It's like, come on now.
Right.
Chloe
Grace Moretz. Yeah. She's gorgeous. She obviously, I just didn't for a minute buy this some mousy, you know, picked on girl.
Yes. Like, why would you pick on her? I mean,
yeah.
Like she's part of the crowd.
It's like, come on.
Yeah. She was funny in Tom and Jerry, though. I don't know if you saw
Tom
and Jerry.
I didn't do that.
It's pretty cute. I watched that. I was expecting it to be a lot worse than it was, but it was actually pretty cute. I liked it.
It's like all the animals were cartoons in real life, like the elephant, like at the wedding, everything. So no matter birds in the beginning flying were cartoon.
Oh wow,
it almost reminded me of Roger Rabbit a little bit. How the cartoon,
live action. I was talking to somebody about Roger Rabbit the other day. Why we just collectively forgot that movie? Roger Rabbit was huge. It was huge for like 2-3 years. And then nobody ever talked about it again. Yeah. You don't see the character, you don't see merch, you don't see the character on anything. Disney doesn't talk about I was just like, it's crazy. Like, why did we toss Roger Rabbit out?
Yeah, Roger Rabbit was great. I don't remember if I own that one, but yeah, Roger Rabbit's great.
And the shoe.
Yeah,
watch that. I haven't watched that in quite a while, but I've always enjoyed that one.
It's kind of interesting now, being on this end of pop culture and kind of seeing what kids are into now and everything. It's interesting the things that people think were big deals that really weren't, and then things that were big deals that get forgotten. Like I was having this debate with somebody the other day. Like Hocus Pocus was not a big deal when it came out.
Mm-hmm.
Hocus Pocus failed at the box office. It had fans, obviously. I mean, it had people who watched it and enjoyed it. But it was really because I was, maybe 10, 11, 12 when that movie came out. So I would have been like prime audience for it. And nobody talked about it. But it was the generation after us.
Right.
Like big Hocus Pocus fans because they kept watching it on television or watching it on video. So somebody the other day made the comments like, "Oh man, I imagine when Hocus Pocus came out, it was crazy." I'm like, "No, it wasn't."
Right.
It came out at the same time as Ernest Scared Stupid, which I still love. But
I absolutely love it. I have that one. I have that one, the Christmas one, and I forget it's like a 3-pack that has
Ernest
the Christmas one. And I'd have to go grab it, but I'm not getting up again.
But it's weird to think about. Now Hocus Pocus is like this huge thing. It's every year at Halloween, it's like it's the Halloween movie. But when it came out, it wasn't. But then a movie like Roger Rabbit was huge when it came out, and now most people younger than us don't know who the hell Roger Rabbit is.
Right. I went to a convention. I forget what year it was, but we had like this little shuttle bus that took us from our hotel to where the convention was. And there was a couple girls that was going as well. And one was dressed up as Poison Ivy, and the other one was actually dressed up as Jessica Rabbit. And it was so interesting. And we actually didn't even realize it was Jessica Rabbit at first. We was trying to figure out what her cosplay was, and then when she told us, I was like, "Oh yeah, Jessica Rabbit." Yeah. But yeah, it just like brings you your point. You forget about Roger Rabbit,
and it's weird because it was such a big, and then there are probably other things that were big that we've completely forgotten about too. It's weird.
Yeah, most definitely, especially from like back in the day.
You remember that movie? I've been hoping they'd do a re-release of it. There's a movie called The Skateboard Kid where the skateboard talked like it got struck by lightning. I don't know if you remember that or not.
No.
Yeah,
no, but that sounds awesome.
It was a good movie. I don't know if I'm sure YouTube has the trailer and stuff on it, but yeah, it's called The Skateboard Kid. It was around also like when Prehistoria came out with Elvis the dinosaurs. Yeah. It was like that.
Yeah, I never heard of that one.
Yeah. Skateboard Kid. Yeah, check it out.
Was it live action?
Yeah, it was live action. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a bunch of random movies that I used to get when VHS and went to Video Plus, and I would just run a whole bunch of them. And
there were so many movies from when, again, I was 10, 11 or so that I went to the theater to see that I don't even think exist anymore, like Rock-a-Doodle.
Rock-a-Doodle, yeah. I'm pretty sure that went on to DVD. I want to say I bought that.
And what was that? Rover Dangerfield? It was Rodney Dangerfield.
Oh, yeah.
These are movies that are lost to time,
Yeah, I can't say if the one with Roger Dangerfield went anywhere, but I want to say, I could be thinking of another movie, but I do remember Rock-a-Doodle. But I want to say I own Rock-a-Doodle, but I could be totally thinking of a different movie as well. I have so many, it's hard to keep track, but I do remember both of those cartoons.
Probably around the time All Dogs Go to Heaven, the first one. The second one was kind of, but the first All Dogs Go to Heaven was good.
Yeah, probably similar timeline.
Yeah, and the Page Master.
Oh gosh, yeah. Oh yeah, it's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. I can't remember if it was late 80s or maybe early 90s, but Batteries Not Included with the
Oh yeah,
I remember that.
That movie's amazing. Yeah, my son was like obsessed with that movie for the longest, or I wouldn't say for the longest time, but we watched that movie a lot when he was younger.
Another movie that was really Cocoon is another one that was huge that people forgot about. Nobody thinks about Cocoon anymore. You never hear it like on classic 80s movies or whatever. It's Cocoon.
Right. That used to be so big. Everybody was talking about that for like ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, they should just do like a streaming service with all these movies on there. It'd be awesome.
That's it. Movies you forgot about. Yeah.
The Forgotten Movie Channel.
Sorry, my son walked by. I was trying to figure out what he had. He got himself some cake and ice cream. They had dinner while I was on here, so I still got to eat.
Yeah, I had just ordered some Chinese when I got home. I was like, I'm not cooking. I'm just going to eat my Chinese, get ready.
The great thing about forgotten movies, though, is that I've written scripts and things from using elements of movies that people had forgotten about. Especially like Prom Night. One of my favorite, and this is kind of a weird out of left field one, but one of my favorite movies as a kid was Prom Night 3. And I just thought that was such a cool concept, kind of having a angry ghost girlfriend that, I've tried to revisit that one. A movie called The Death Wish Club about a bunch of, weird eccentric people in a suicide cult I've kind of got, a script I'm working on that uses that idea. So it's kind of like some of these forgotten movies are, just good fodder for, future projects,
Mm-hmm.
Come here. I'm sorry.
Here comes the dog. Who let the dogs out? Who?
Well, I've got Chihuahuas. I have to keep mine up because my Chihuahua likes to sit on my shoulder while I watch television. So.
Mine just got into the trash and took a chicken bone out, but she got it 8 before we was able to get it. But she looks all right. Doesn't look like anything. So hopefully everything goes well.
Hopefully that'll pass okay.
I remember back in the day, like we would feed our dogs bones and just scraps and garbage or whatever, and the dogs lived to be like 20 years old. Now I'm like terrified. It's like, did my dog eat an onion? Did they eat an onion?
Well, yeah. I know. I make sure because she likes to eat like some of our scraps and whatnot. So I try to make sure if I make something, if it has like onions or whatever, I'll make a separate little portion just for her.
Yeah.
It was funny. I had a pet chicken for about 10, 11 years she lived, and she would come in the house, and one night she actually flew onto the table when we were having chicken. She started pecking at the chicken, and we're like, oh my God, she's gone cannibalistic. She's like, no.
Pretty sure that's the start of a horror movie. You create like zombie chickens that way.
Zombie chicken. Well, there is Poultrygeist. Have you seen that Trauma movie, Poultrygeist?
No, I've not. No, but
that was weird. I think it was also called like Chicken of the Living Dead or whatever. That was a really weird movie.
Yeah.
Most trauma.
I was trying to pick her up, but she ain't having nothing about it. She's yelping like I'm hurting her.
But yeah, she was a cool chicken. I taught her to crow, and well, we know it was a hen. I mean, she laid eggs and everything, and I would crow really loud, and she started imitating me. So I would go, "Arr!" I'm not gonna do it now. Well, what the heck? Well, that's as loud as I'm gonna do it. But she would like she'd puff up her chest, and then she'd like imitate me. And my dad would take her to car shows, and she'd just sit there. And I mean, she was like the most tame little chicken. And then we had another one. I was younger, of course, when I had like 9 or 10, and so I named them Cinnamon and Licorice. And Licorice didn't live as long. I only think like 3 years, but didn't like to be picked up. Nothing, would like hunch over. Didn't like being around. But Cinnamon was the complete opposite. It was.
And my brother had an iguana that he took everywhere with him, and he would like take it walking on like trails and whatnot.
Just put it.
I had to babysit it one time, and it got out of its cage, and I had to like chase it around my apartment because it wouldn't have nothing to do with me.
My mother has a pet duck that she keeps like in a dog kennel with like a little wading pool. And she's had this duck like a decade, and she asked me not that long ago, how long do ducks live? I have no idea how long ducks live.
I'm not sure how long they live. I mean, I don't think
my duck knowledge is unfortunately is minimal.
Yeah, I don't know.
Sorry.
Oh,
I gagged myself. Sorry, now we have squeaky noises.
I was going to say, you found a squeaky noise. Yeah, right now I'm petless. Probably in the future get another dog. They're fun. I had gerbils in the past, and they were always fun too. Did like a little science experiment with them. I bought this maze that they went through and everything, and one of them, the original ones, I had gotten Eek and Squeak, male and female. They just had generations of babies, and then their babies had babies, and had like a whole bunch of them. And it's interesting because they were both gray, but they ended up having white, goldish color, black. They had like a whole variety of babies in their genes.
Oh wow!
There was one that I said different names. It was really weird. I had one of the baby ones on my knee. And it was calm. It loved being on, walking around, and she actually wagged her tail when I would say her name. It was so weird. And I was like just saying names, just goofing around. I'm like, how about Ashley? Just a random name because it was someone in the classroom, And as soon as I said Ashley, the tail started wagging. I'm like, okay. And then I said other names, and then I said that again. The tail wagged. I'm like, that's really creepy. So apparently that's what the name of the gerbil was.
And we had a dog, like my first dog. For some reason, it was like some sketchy pet store, to be quite honest. But for some reason, they told us that the dog was a boy, because I forget why, but I think my mom didn't want to get a girl dog. And so they told us it was a boy. I was really young. I don't remember how old I was, but we just believed him. We didn't like, it was stupid, and we didn't like, oh, it doesn't have a you know what. So, and my dad's like, it's a sissy. It squats when it pees. And so after a while, we already had her like trained by this boy's dog name. It's like, well, I gotta change its name. It's not a boy. So it's like trying to figure out things. I would say different things, and I ended up saying Cindy for some odd reason. And she came to that, so we changed her name to Cindy. So I had a dog named Cindy that picked her own name.
It's like a dog's journey or whatever. You say its name. Oh, is that your name? Okay.
Yeah, my dog now. Technically, I got her at a shelter, and she had her name. It was Rogue, like the X-Men. And we thought about changing it, but we decided not to because she's mainly white, but she's got a black mask around her eyes. Just like we couldn't really think of like another little like superhero type or villain or whatever that would fit. So we stuck with Rogue, and we like it. So yeah, she's named Rogue.
What else going on? Anything else you want to share with us going on? Or
I don't know.
Right.
Anything else you want to know about anything?
I'm not sure. I think I pretty much got my questions. You, Boom?
I know I covered all mine.
So
Got to learn quite a bit.
yeah, that was fun. Of course, and then just talking's always fun too. That's what we do here at the House of Horrors. We get to interview, have some fun. And so I hope you've enjoyed it coming on. So
I absolutely have. Thank you so much for.
Steven's trying to do some found footage filmery going
yeah,
around.
I do have my tripod that I usually set it in there, but this wasn't really planned doing it on my phone. So I don't know. My computer just went possessed tonight. So here's a Stephen King for you. Maximum Overdrive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched the new American Horror Stories. Have you watched that yet?
I haven't got to watch that yet.
Yeah, the first two were continued. It was the woman in the rubber suit, so you got like a story of that when they moved in, and then there was a drive-in one, a cursed movie that like causes people to go nuts and kill each other.
Yeah, I can't wait to the other one, the actual American Horror Story, because but the only thing I'm looking forward to on stories is Danny Trejo being Santa Claus.
That sounds interesting,
right? So that's like the only thing I'm really because I've followed it a little bit, and I was like, I don't know how I feel about that. But I saw Danny Trejo's gonna be Santa Claus. I got to see that. But in the other one, in the actual American Horror Stories, Macaulay Culkin's going to be in there, Kathy Bates, and apparently they have like a love scene or something. I want to see Macaulay Culkin. We haven't seen him in like forever. We need to see him in something, and him joining American Horror Stories, I think would be great.
Yeah,
but yeah, especially him and Kathy Bates of all people having a love scene together.
It should be interesting to see.
Right, yeah. So I got to see Danny Trejo as Santa Claus, and I got to see Macaulay Culkin. So that's what I'm excited about.
And then I'm waiting for, besides that, I'm ready for the next season of Creep Show 2. Will be good when that comes out, the season 3.
Yeah, I just seen an article about that, I think earlier today. I think, wasn't next year it's going to be?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. Trying without looking at my articles or whatnot, but still trying to get my damn screen recorder to work so I can do my news.
Has there,
go ahead. Was you going to read his comment?
Has there anyone that you haven't worked with yet that you would like to work with?
Yeah, I would. Oh, I'd love to work with Danny Trejo for one. Yeah. Oh my goodness, who have I wanted to work with that I haven't worked with yet? I mean, pretty much anybody. Malcolm McDowell is another one that I would love the chance to work with. One of my favorite actors. I tell people, not necessarily a person, but I tell people my dream is I want to direct like one of the lower tier Marvel movies. I want to make a Man-Thing movie or Werewolf by Night or something like that. I'd love to kind of. I'm a big comic book guy, big Marvel guy, so I'd love to kind of play in that sandbox, and work with those people. So
yeah, compete since he was already in DC universe.
I heard Swamp Thing, so now if I went and flipped and did Man-Thing, then that would make perfect sense.
There you
Right.
Covering my bases.
Yeah.
Patrick, have Cheetah Willview. He said, "Nice meeting you."
Oh, thank you.
Don't know how long.
He
it's
started
been
to
down,
read
so-
that, and then he's talking, so I stopped.
Yeah, I didn't want to interrupt, but I don't know how long you wrote that.
It's all good.
So
I really enjoyed have enjoyed being on here and talking with everybody. So
yeah, glad you came. So I guess if there's anything else you want to say, or if you want to stick around the last 20 minutes, it's up to you.
Is there anything that you want to plug? I know you can't talk about your movie, but is there anything that you want to plug?
can't talk about the new one yet, but yeah, everybody can just follow me on social media, just Daniel Emrey Taylor. Facebook. I have a personal Facebook page that's almost full, but also my official page that's available there. And I'm on Instagram and Twitter and TikTok and everything else. So, but aside from that, it's just a game you can check out on Tubi, I believe it's
Yes, on
currently
Tubi
on.
for sure. That's where I watched it.
Also on Amazon,
Amazon too,
and
yeah.
I think Vudu and where all your favorite streaming platforms. So, but aside from that, yeah, just keep up with me and what I'm doing. I've always got something. I've got about. I was telling somebody the other day about a new script idea I had, and they're like, well, "How many scripts do you have ready?" So I've got probably 10 ready to roll. Just what just depends on whatever hits first. Whatever. Or wherever the interest is, but constantly thinking of new ideas. I tell people that writing is just giving life to the voices in my head. So I got to get them out, get them out, and get them on paper.
Right.
Absolutely. Well, we'll be sure to check out all those social medias and Tubi and all the streaming platforms, of course. So, all right. Well, again, thanks for joining us, and you have a great night.
Hey, well, thank you so much. Again, I've enjoyed it, and thanks for having me on.
All right.
No
We'll probably
problem.
see you again. All right. Take care.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Oh, and Doomsday just came in.
Hello, Doomsday. Come in for the ending.
Come in, thanks. Had a good time. So, yep, always a good time here in the House of Horrors. So, yep. That's pretty much it, I guess. Not much else going on. I talked about the Fear Streets and American Horror Story, all the stuff that I was going to talk while he was on. We just pretty much all three of us discussed it.
Yeah. Now, hopefully, I'll be able to do a news segment soon. We're trying to figure out
He
my
just said
damn
late to
screen
the party.
recorder. Yeah.
You have to catch the replay. Yeah, all the craziness, how on my computer went maximum overdrive. At one point I came on, I was on the screen twice, and then I couldn't see Daniel, and I don't know what was going on tonight. That's just... Friday.
Yeah, my programs basically went maximum overdrive. It yeeted my screen recorder out of there, and we can't get it back. We didn't even try to uninstall and reinstall it. But the first week I missed kind of on purpose. I just wasn't in the headspace to do it. The next week I wanted to do the news and it wouldn't work. And then we still haven't got it work. So I've missed 3 weeks now because I can't get my damn program to work. So hopefully it'll get fixed eventually. I still have a review that's been filmed over a month ago that I need to edit and get out. I can do that. That's not holding it back. It's just I've been wanting to do the news and my program's just no, screw you. You're not doing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just had a couple. I got my horror pack in, did a video of that. And then I went ahead and I did a video short one for Bronco Juggalo Talks Movies, his contest, read a line. So
Yeah, I saw that.
yeah,
I thought about it, but I was like, I don't know if I'm in the headspace yet to do something fun like that. It looks fun, and I could definitely use my green screen and stuff to do something fun with that. It's just I don't know if I'm in the headspace. Like I have an unboxing that's sitting here waiting to do.
He was even saying like if you want to just read a line or whatever, it didn't really matter.
Right.
It didn't
But yeah, I don't know if I want to do it if I can't do what I have in my head, you know.
Yeah.
But so I don't know. I probably won't because I'm really not really in the headspace for it yet. But
yeah, it was interesting. I decided to do that. Not Devil's Rejects. Yeah, it was No, I can't even think what movie I did from him.
I know I watched it, but I've watched a few people's, and I can't think of which one you did now.
Oh,
I know I'll get it
was
mixed
the
up.
Devil's Rejects because he was talking about Captain Spoil.
Oh yeah, the chicken.
So
Yeah.
it was Devil's Rejects.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was the chicken. Then I
See,
watched.
me a
I think
chicken
it was
puzzle.
Dave's Horror. He did Silence of the Lambs, and I don't remember. I've seen so many of them. I can't remember who did what, but
Yeah.
they've been
the
fun to
horror
watch.
Man, he did Phantasm. He just said summed up in one word, boy.
But yeah, they've been fun to watch. But I think didn't Hobbs did one too. I think, or am I thinking of somebody else?
He might have. I'll have to check. I think he did, but I can't remember what.
I might be thinking of somebody else. Like I said, there's been so many that I've watched. I can't remember who did what, but
yeah. Well, yeah, there were some good ones.
yeah. It seemed fun. I don't know. If I don't have the mental capacity to go up and do like with the green screen and everything like I want, I'm probably not going to do it. Yeah. But it does seem like a fun concept, and I hope a lot of people. I know last time I think he said only 4 people had done it, but then I've seen some entries after that. So hopefully he's getting enough entries.
Yeah.
So people can have fun with it.
Yeah. Yeah, it was an interesting idea to do that for the contest.
Yeah, it's definitely fun. And if I would have been probably better off, like headspace wise, I would have definitely done it. But
yeah. So let's see. So Friday, we'll be doing another special holiday show with Steve Rimpici. Will be coming on. Same time, just different day.
Prettiest damn unicorn.
Yeah. Duke will see you in hell if you're not there. So that'll be fun. I've talked to him a few times. He seems really cool. Going to be fun to talk to. And
yeah, I got something special for that one.
Uh-oh. Is it a blow-up unicorn?
No, I wish. No.
And then, of course, the day after, Saturday 31st, we got Ken Sagos coming on from Nightmare on Elm Street, Dream Warriors and Dream Master. So, and then, of course, the 7th, we got Debbie Rashawn coming on. And then, of course, the 14th, I'll be at Camp Daniel Morgan. So there won't be doing anything. That's why we're doing it this Friday. Camden
nice.
Toy. Yeah, Camden Toy, the 21st. So some good lineups. All the way pretty much till September. So
nice.
Yes. I'm so glad Nicholas Vince, not Vance. I'm like, oh shoot, I got to change that.
Yeah, I saw that. I looked up on IMDb and I seen there was a Vince and a Vance, and they both was in the horror genre. It's like one composes for that that weird one that had like from the 70s like TV show, and then the other one was in Hellraiser. I was like, okay, it could be either one. So they have almost exact name.
We'll call it Pick a Nick. Just show up. We don't know. It's a surprise. It's a
Are you prepared for the? It was, I forget the name of the movie. It just had letters on it, but the weird movie or Hellraiser.
Well, he was also a Nightbreed, also. So
right.
And
yeah, the Hellraiser. Without my notes, that was the only one coming to my mind. But yeah.
Chatterbox,
yeah, and he's like my favorite Cenobite too.
I think he's a lot of people's favorite. Besides Pinhead, he's like probably the next one on the list.
Right. Doomsday says, "I think I might hit Orlando. Gonna get a small booth and ship some items there.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, they announced the cast of the Terrifier, the director, art. Jenna's going to be there, and I forget the other girl's name right offhand, but she's going to be there as well. So I'm going to see what I can do about trying to get them on. So especially especially with Terrifier 2 coming out, they might want to come on and talk about that. So
right, and Felicia's supposed to be in that one too, isn't she? The number 2.
I think she does have a part in it. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to say she does.
So we'll have to ask her about that once we get an official date there. So I know she's had a busy week, so I'm just waiting for her to get back of what date works. So
right.
So even if we do a special day for her too, whatever, I mean, I'm willing to, of course, accommodate people,
Right. I don't do shit, so it doesn't matter to me. I'm basically available at all times. Unless I just gotta make the guys starve, but but he cooked on the grill, and I don't do the grill, so technically I'm the one starving this time.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll munch on anything before bed or not. Like, I'm sort of hungry. Maybe I'll pop in a toaster strudel. Just a little snack before bed. Get up at 6 in the morning and get ready for work. So back to the wall until next Friday, or Friday I'll be off, and Friday and Saturday, of course, are my days off. So let's see. Vinny C got art he'll be doing. Okay. Some art of Art the Clown. All right.
Nice.
But yeah, I'll definitely see you there. It should be good. So, got some good guests going there.
I won't be there. It's too far for me to travel. I don't do planes.
Trains or automobiles? Planes, trains?
Train, possibly. Automobile. If I had my own, but it's broke down right now. Possibly. But then I would have to abandon everybody for probably an over 14-hour drive. I know when I lived in Illinois, it was like a 12 to 14-hour drive to Florida. Now I live farther away, so we'll say 20-hour respectively drive. No, not by myself.
Well, like I said, my friend Patty, she's driving down by herself from Minnesota to Georgia back to Camp Daniel Morgan. So
yeah,
that's a long drive. So
yeah.
Hopefully she'll make it without getting in an accident this time. So
yeah,
someone hit her, like, and what was ironic, right outside. I'm getting to the point where I can't talk. Almost time to go when that happens. The car Enterprise or whatever, where she rented the car, she was actually nearby when this old dude hit her. It wasn't even her fault. Like, man. And she had called me and said she was in an accident. And I was like, oh gosh, are you be able to make it? Or how far? Or like, what do you mean? Because you had this plan and everything. And luckily, she was like an hour away, but I mean, she was fine, of course. And, she wasn't hurt or anything. So that was good. And she was able to come. She was just freaked out, like, oh my gosh, I rented this car. And
right.
And she didn't have the rental insurance. So she was like kind of freaking, like, okay, am I going to have to pay, or is it they'll take care of it? Or
Doomsday say he's going to fly. They got family there. Be too expensive to bring all stuff. I imagine it probably is expensive.
Yeah.
I have no idea like what the rates and stuff are, but I can imagine.
Yeah, and all the people, I mean, when they transfer all the vendors and stuff, depending on how much they have, that could be costly, depending whether if they drive it or ship it or whatever they decide to do. But I'm looking forward to Spooky. It's going to be fun. It's like I'm going through con withdrawals.
Shit, I haven't been to one in years. Years. I don't even remember what year, because I know we've lived in Wisconsin 3 years. And I haven't been to one since we lived here, and it's been probably at least a couple years before that. So probably 5 years since I've been to one. Just a rough estimate.
Man, I swear though, that Tampa Bay Scare Fest, I mean, it was so weird. That one room wasn't that big. I was just like, what is this? I was like, There, like I said, literally there was maybe 16, if that, I didn't count, but maybe 16 tables. I mean, it was just small.
Wow, that sounds weird.
Like, I should have took more pictures of it just to like show how small it was. Like when they let us in, I walked in there and didn't know. Like I was thinking that was just a dealer's like or a vendor's room, and then we go to another guest room or whatever. But then I saw their pictures of the guests at those tables there, and then just some people selling stuff in the middle of the room, and that was it.
Wow,
There was like nothing.
that's crazy.
Yeah, Felissa had the biggest line throughout the day. Dave Sheridan was second, probably. But who was it from Subspecies? I can't think of her name. If it was, what was her name? She canceled, and then the woman from Night of the Living Dead canceled. So yeah, it was
Awesome. Was that Lynn Quigley?
no, she wasn't there. No.
Oh, well, you said Night of the Living Dead. I did.
No,
Oh, never mind. I'm thinking of
the
Return. Never
original.
mind. I'm stupid.
The original Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah, I'm
Was
stupid.
it-
I
was it Mary-
realized what I said after I said it.
That's Return of the Living Dead.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I realized it. I'm not the brightest. I blame my head injury on everything. Oh, shoot.
I don't want to go to work tomorrow. I want a day off. I like my 2 days off. And then, well, I had, of course, my weekend off. But today I was like, I want a third day off. It was just one of those, I don't feel like being here today. And then I was pretty much by myself all day. The person coming in for their next shift was supposed to be in at 2. They didn't show up. So I worked 7 to 4. Joel was there. He had come in later to help in a different department, thankfully. But other than that, yeah, it was just me. But oh well, it is what it is.
Right.
I've been by myself all day before, so always fun.
Oh, yeah, I should probably be getting off. I don't know if the animals are eating my dinner. Everybody's being, oh, the dog's over there. But the cat might be eating it. They're being too quiet. It's like toddlers. If they're being quiet, you gotta see what they're doing.
Things are too quiet.
Right. It is. It's like having toddlers. But I could see the dog, so I know she's not. She already stole her stuff out of the trash.
All right. Well, I guess I'll head on to and get something to munch on before I go to bed. So, been a fun night.
All right.
I'll see you Friday.
All right.
Yes. So tune in, everybody, for Steve Rimpeachy, the prettiest goddamn unicorn.
And I believe, I don't know if Midnight Hour is going on tonight, but if it is, they'll be going on in a couple hours on Hobbs' channel, I'm assuming. I guess I probably shouldn't promote it since I don't really know. But hey.
That's right. It is Sunday. So, yeah. I think
Yeah.
it's
I'm going to say, because I know it's usually like 9 o'clock. Well, it's 10 o'clock their time, but it's 9 o'clock my time, and it's 8 o'clock right now. So,
it's 9. So it's about 9 o'clock here then, because I'm
it's 7:48. So yeah, it's probably 8:48 your time.
Yeah, it's 8:48. Yeah. So
I could do math.
I can do math. All right, then.
As soon as I figure out people's time zones, yeah.
Yeah, that's the only thing. What time is it in your zone? I don't know. That's what's tricky too when you want to do shows. You know, certain people all over. So,
Right.
So yeah, for Nicholas, I mean, 5-hour time difference. That's why I'm going to do 2 o'clock on that Sunday, and then right after. Well, not right after, but then at 7, Brian Bremer coming on from Society and Pumpkinhead. So that'll be a fun day. 2 shows. So
Yeah.
all right. Well, I'm going to head on out on that note. So I'll see you Friday.
All right. I'll see you later.
And everybody else.
Bye.
Bye.